she said that faculty are then instructing like student affairs or Department of Student Life or whatever on what they should be doing for their stuff. So she was done.
She's at Arapahoe, right?
No, she's at Pikes Peak.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. 24 and a half years.
Wow.
Yeah. Early retirement due to some of the challenges that we are all facing.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was interesting. But yeah, for me, I don't know. I think that it's important. I think just even as a new hire, we talked about that. You know, they talk about retention and onboarding. They were really talking about onboarding our new dean. And, you know, one of the things that I think some of the institutions may do better than others is making sure that they have the resources that they need and you know, are supported and have a mentor. And I can't say, you know, when they were asking questions like for me, when I started, what kind of, you know, what type of training? Well, I didn't really have any. I had no training. And within 6 weeks, my director she was pregnant, which I didn't realize when we interviewed, and she left, right? So after 6 weeks, she left, and then she never came back. And so then it's relying on your own abilities to find the answers to things, ask the questions, to do the work. So when we talk about trainings, I would say it's also institution, you know, like onboarding and continued trainings to help you learn Banner, to help you learn, you know, other potential things like now we're going to have Navigate and all these other things. But to actually have some more trainings, because early on we didn't really have like that budget training, and I mean we didn't really have that.
Yeah.
So it's not only specific for what I do, but in general about the institution.
Yeah. Okay. So I have a final sort of question about, well, here it is. How has your work been impacted by your participation in this study? How has this study impacted my work? Yeah, or your experience of the work.
Well, it's interesting to reflect on some of the questions that you've asked, right? To sit back and say, oh yeah, you know, I really didn't have a whole lot of training, right? I mean, it's not something that I think about often, or think about some of the ways that I actually do the work or how I'm able to do the work. You know, talking about the many different things of you know, being organized or you know, being flexible or, you know, those types of things. So I think it's kind of sort of bringing forth, you know, all of the things that is this job, right? I mean, all of the different challenges that come with it, and in terms of it impacting my day-to-day, it hasn't too much. Fortunately, I'm a little slow, so I'm able to take these calls and these meetings without it really impacting the work that I'm doing on a day-to-day basis right now. But yeah, I think I'm very excited for you. I'm glad that I could be helpful for your project, and hope that, you know, we have all given you the necessary information so that you can right away, you know, and get completed, and, you know.
Yeah. I've been like so appreciative of all of your time, and yours specifically, just because I think, you know, I've been getting a lot of good stuff, and right now I'm almost overwhelmed with how much there is now to analyze and to pull together. But, you know, I think there's been a lot of stuff when I take notes from you. from our 3 individual times and then in the focus group. I have a lot of stuff that I wrote down that are like, okay, so that's a theme, and that's a good direct quote. And like today, that we have policies but we don't have funding.
Yeah.
That says so much right there.
Yeah.
And that's certainly a huge theme to be developed. So there's a lot to do, but it's been a really great process
I
for
bet.
me. Especially the focus group. I really loved the focus group time.
Well, I thought it was interesting. I found like, wow, we're all pretty much on the same page, right? I really do feel there may be some individual experiences, but in the general, to me, it's pretty consistently we all kind of struggle with the same type of things, and have the same type of thought process, or the fact that it is about the students and how much we care about their success. So I think that resonated a lot through that focus group. I felt very supportive. I wasn't uncomfortable with people knowing who I was if they wanted to know who I was. At first I thought, oh, should I get? And I was like, I don't care.
Yeah.
A couple people I thought it was funny because was it Jen? I think it was a Jen from Arapahoe. She's like, and I was like, it's funny, because she kept it kind of. And at first I thought I don't know that I knew who she was immediately. And then I was like, oh yeah, that's who that is. But
yeah, no,
but I think we all have had similar experiences.
Yeah, I think there's some interesting commonalities.
Yes.
In all of what we do, and I was feeling like an adrenaline high after the focus group because it was all good, but I think honestly when you threw out the training thing and then we all kind of piped in on that, and there was the privilege issue of needing the training because community colleges are held to the same standards as 4 years, and we don't have the funding.
We don't have funding, no. That goes with even just like event planning, right? For student activities. We just don't have the same student fee structure, each individual college, even here within the system, we don't allocate the same funding the way other schools are. It's not consistent across the board, right? So what our institution feels is the priority may be different than what the priority is at another institution. And so then, and is there a true understanding from upper level administration to understand why it's important to have these things?
Yeah.
Why is it important that people are trained? And, I've had conversations where I'm like, you're having people do an investigation that they're not Title IX certified, right? They haven't gone through the training, which is a real problem because if there's a mistake made and they file suit, you guys are going to be paying a lot of money. And I would tell them back in the day, I think it was the $33,000. I think now it's up to $38,000 or something, but just trying to get them to understand how important a lot of this work is, and how the liability, we take on as student conduct people or care behavioral intervention people, that we really are taking on a lot of liability, and you're not providing necessarily the right space, the right, location, the right funding for the office, for training. That part of it isn't number one.
Yeah.
We're down on the lower end of the funding models, right? So
yeah. Yeah. Wow.
So we could cost. Our work could potentially cause a student to have some sort of civil lawsuit against the college, and if we're not doing our jobs well, right? If we don't know what we're doing and we're not following our policies and procedures, then it's going to be really negative for the college. Fortunately, I don't know. I think there probably are some of the colleges that are getting sued, but that's also not being communicated, right? If there is, I don't know about it, and that, and if I knew about it, then maybe I would be able to learn what should and shouldn't be done.